It all begins with birds. Audubon.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line. Again, that is 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and Text line where you can call in and you can text in to share any of your thoughts on today's show. You can also watch and stream us live on YouTube. Let me go to YouTube myself. Ooh, I got a lot of things up. Go to YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube, so where you can give us a share, you can give us a like, you can give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of your favorite award-winning 1017 The Truth shows. Hit that little bell. Also, Truth Nation, shout out to you all, and shout out to DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and the twos. All right, Truth Nation, so first things first, I just want to get right into it with the weekend recap.
Truth Nation, we know you have a busy life and the weekend went by too fast. If you missed any of the headline stories, no worries. We got you covered on the top stories you may have missed. Tap in for the weekend recap on Truth to Power. Kyle, tell Truth Nation the biggest headlines they need to know.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about, Truth Nation, is the Community Awards. The Community Awards was what makes Milwaukee great, what makes Milwaukee beautiful. It's the fact that we can start a radio station that is focused on Black Milwaukee and telling our stories and amplifying our voices, and have everybody from different backgrounds and ethnic groups to come together to celebrate the Truth Community Awards and those who are making a difference. I just want to say thank you to those who were there. Thank you to those who weren't there but still supported. Thank you to those that were hoping it was a great event. I just want to say thank you, because this is what Milwaukee is about. This is the beauty of our city, and we have so many incredible individuals who are making a positive change and making a positive difference that I am so happy that I feel blessed and fortunate to be part of something like this. This is what 1017 The Truth is about. When we launched 1017 The Truth, we didn't just want to be an audio platform. We wanted to be a place that people could come together, have conversations, have debates, but also celebrate the greatness within our city, a marketplace of sorts. That is what we wanted it to be. On Friday night, that is exactly what we saw. Great job by DJ Brother Z holding it down on the tunes. My lady was like, oh, DJ Brother Z killing it. He killing it. And so shout out to everybody, all the award recipients. Shout out to all the greatness in our community. Shout out. So I just want to thank everybody for the support. I want to thank everybody for the hard work that they're doing. And I cannot wait to next year where we get an opportunity to continue to highlight some of the unsung heroes in our community who are making a positive impact and making a difference. So thank y'all so much. I believe we'll have the video and we'll have some audio as well at some point for those who did not make it to be able to watch it back on YouTube and to be able to also enjoy the audio of it. So make sure y'all keep your eyes and ears peeled for that, because that will come at some point. All right, Truth Nation, let's get straight to all the other news happening in the headlines. And Mexico is on fire, El Fuego. Maybe I shouldn't joke about that. But I don't know if y'all saw what's going on in Mexico, but man, it is crazy in Mexico right now. And the country of Mexico was rocked yesterday when news broke that one of the most notorious drug pins in Mexico was killed by the government with assistance from the United States. He went by El Mencho, and he was a leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the fastest growing criminal networks in Mexico. They traffic fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine into the United States. And once word got out that their cartel leader, El Mencho, was killed, all chaos broke out. That gang started that cartel, started setting buses on fire, cars on fire, gas stations and other businesses on fire. They stormed the Guadalajara airport. Like literally, they stormed the airport. They're shooting up inside of there, which a lot of people. I was talking to my brother yesterday. He's gone to Mexico a couple of times. I've been to Mexico, but I've only been to Cancun and to there's another place as well. I can't think of it. But he's like, yeah, there's some layovers place. I go in Mexico. There's some layovers there. So he's been in Guadalajara airport. Matter of fact, I think Milwaukee might have used to have a non-stop from MKE to Guadalajara. And so very, very scary stuff happening in Mexico. And the crazy thing is what we have to understand is that this is going to have implications that impact Americans already now. You have people who are literally at the resort. Like imagine being a tourist in Mexico right now. You sitting there, you on the island, you kicking it. You saw the videos from people from Puerto Vallarta just hanging out, and all of a sudden you look to your left when you're sitting on the beach and you see smoke in the air. You look to your right, you see smoke in the air. You start hearing bangs. You're trying to figure out what is happening. 25 members of the Mexican military have been killed. Like this is serious stuff. It really is. And Mexico is a very big country, very big country. But we have to be naive as Americans not to think that we're not going to be impacted by this. Not right here in the United States. That I don't know. But at least for those who are traveling to Mexico. The cartels have connections all over the country. They really do. And all it takes is for someone to say the word and chaos can start and many Americans can be in danger. And when I say chaos can start, do understand there's a gentleman's agreement between the cartels, the Mexican government, and foreign governments to say, you know what? We're going to leave your little resort island alone. Because y'all think that how do cartels run the country or partially run the country and they just let Cancun be fun and Puerto Vallarta be cool and Tijuana and all these different places? They made a decision to say, you know what? You let us do our stuff and we going to let y'all do y'all stuff. We both going to win in this situation. And based off of yesterday, all bets were off and chaos ensued in Mexico. Very, very scary. But I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because that was crazy stuff. Next up, Truth Nation, positive news. Shout out to the city of Milwaukee, and shout out to the Community Agriculture Growing Experience, who hosted their annual 500 Black Tuxedo event on Saturday. This is an event where 250 men and 250 children, young boys, put on tuxedos to walk through the community. And I love that the focus is on helping our young black boys see themselves as scholars, leaders, and kings. Because we need more positive reinforcement of that. I'm mad I missed it this year. I got to make sure it's in my calendar, so I do it this year. I had some stuff going on Saturday with some folks in town. But I want to make sure I can do it. My boy did it this weekend, saw him doing it. It was great. It's great to see him giving back to the community. And overall, I really do think that our city needs to have more programs like this. Like, I know we have a lot of great college tours from many organizations, but one thing I think we need to continue to do is give our kids more opportunities to see themselves in a different light. Give our kids more opportunities to do something a little bit different. And one of the dreams that I had, not dreams, but one of the things I would love to see is for us to have a birthright trip. I think I've talked about it before. In the Jewish community, they have something called the birthright trip, where everybody has a chance to potentially go back to Israel, their homeland. I think for us here in Milwaukee, here in the United States, specifically here in Milwaukee, we need to put together some type of birthright trip which allows for a group of black kids from Milwaukee to be able to take a trip back to the Black Caribbean islands and to be able to explore and see what it's like on those Caribbean islands, or take a trip potentially to Africa to see something outside of their community and outside of Wisconsin and even outside of our country. And for me, I always talk about how we live in this massive land. Like, we really do. This world is massive, which offers so many different lifestyles and things that we can appreciate. I mean, the thing for us is that we can't physically see stuff. Like, we see stuff on TV and the movies, but like, that is the reality for many people. That's the reality. And so for me, I feel like us being able to expose our kids to this will be something that will be positive for them in their future. Because I always imagine and think about, man, there's somebody right now, like Truth Nation, somebody right now laying on a beach across the globe. There's somebody climbing a mountain across the globe. There's somebody hiking across the globe. There's somebody right now, as I speak, walking through a rainforest, a beautiful rainforest right now. Like, this world that we live in, this globe that we live in is so beautiful, and there's so many things that we see but we don't touch. Life is truly a beautiful thing. It really is. And exploring it is an absolute blessing that everybody doesn't have the opportunity to do. But to be able to take some kids from certain, economic backgrounds in the city of Milwaukee who look like us and be able to expose them to something different would be awesome. It really will be something awesome. So maybe one day I'll try to get some folks together and we can do some type of trip with young folks. I think it'd be awesome to expose these kids to that. And lastly, Truth Nation, a big update I want to give is apprenticeships. So we got some good news from our state. As Tony Evers did his State of the State address last week, I'm so glad he's not running for re-election. I like Tony Evers, big fan. I think he's done a very good job. But I'm glad he acknowledged what Joe Biden didn't. Sometimes you're just too old to be in the game. Sometimes it's not for you to continue on. You have to put the people ahead of yourself. And I feel like Joe Biden didn't do that. But shout out to Tony Evers, because we got some good news, because in 2025, the state saw its fourth straight year of record-breaking registrations for the Wisconsin Apprenticeship Program. Now, with that, we had more than 18,000 people register for the program in 2025 and had 3,000 employers participating in the program here in the state of Wisconsin. That is great growth in that program. 18,000 people signing up for an apprenticeship program in 1 year. 3,000 employers, 3,000 people that hire individuals participating in that to want to hire one of these 18,000 people. And the Wisconsin Apprenticeship Program, it offers over 200 diverse paid training occupations across sectors like construction, manufacturing, healthcare, IT, and service, allowing workers to earn while they also learn. Key roles include electricians, plumbers, machinists, HVAC technicians, nurses, IT specialists, and industrial maintenance mechanics. Even dental assistant is in there. Like, this is great. And the reason why I say this is so great is that as part of that 18,000 last year, 11,344 of the people that participated were high school juniors and seniors who enrolled in a youth apprenticeship program in 2024 and 2025 school year. Like, that's good stuff, Truth Nation. And for me, when I think about what the future is, right, this is the way of the future. This needs to be what Milwaukee Public Schools is focusing on. We'll be doing our students a disservice if we did not prepare them for the future where AI takes jobs and skilled jobs are going to be at a premium. I'm not saying that we shouldn't educate kids to be able to go to college, get an education. We shouldn't tell kids it's not important now how to do math, not important how to read, understand science, understand history. You got to do all that. But I do believe you get to a point, first and foremost in high school, where you need to start guiding kids down a pathway towards a career for success. That's what I believe, that when you have these apprenticeships and you have these companies and businesses across Milwaukee, not one MPS student should be able to walk across that stage without knowing what they are going to do next and having something set up for them. Because if we get more of these students in Milwaukee Public Schools into these different programs, into college-bound programs, into different jobs, into different opportunities, that only uplifts the community, but helps us in Milwaukee have a brighter future. And that's what it's all about, is how can we ensure that our community has a brighter future? I saw a picture floating around on the internet of what Locust could look like in the future. Hated it. Because I was like, I don't like that. That sends the wrong message. But I do believe that there is a sense of beauty that can be found in our city when more people have opportunities. That's what it's about. It's how can we ensure more people have opportunities? And again, I'm not saying don't encourage people not to go to college, because I am a college graduate, and what do I look like telling somebody not to do what I did? But I think at a certain point, we have to make sure that understand it is our duty, and it's the school district duty to ensure that these students can maximize their career earnings. And so maybe even introducing AI technology at an earlier age for a lot of these students coming up in elementary school. I'm just telling y'all this now. There are kids who are starting school who will not understand the way that we had a way of life right now. They will be foreign to them. 20 years from now, when those kids who are 4 years old are entering the workforce, they will not understand how people wrote emails without using AI. They won't understand how people thought without AI. Now, do I agree with all of this? No, because I do believe we need to have a certain level of independence. But they're going to look back and they're going to say, just like for me, when we do radio stuff, right? They used to have reels and tapes and all this stuff. They couldn't just go to the internet and Google a song and play it. Just like for us, we're like, dang, that's a lot of work. They're going to be saying the same thing in the future. So we need to be training our youth for the future. We need to be adapting right now. MPS needs to be all in on AI and all in on apprenticeship programs. No student should be able to graduate without having a plan. That's my soapbox. And that has been your weekend recap here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. 18,000 people signed up for the apprenticeship program. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. When we come back on the other side of Truth Nation, I'm going to share a story about the police here in Milwaukee protecting their own more so than protecting the community. We're going to talk about bad policing on the other side. Keep it locked. The future of policing, not the future policing. The police protect their own and don't protect us at the same level, and that's a shame, and I'll tell y'all what I mean by that on the other side.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Black excellence and the most monumental moments in our history. Tune in for Dr. Ken's Trivia, spotlighting powerful facts and moments you need to know. And Tori Lowe's Our Voices, Our Stories, amplifying the youth, perspectives, and lived experiences that define who we are. Celebrating Black excellence, celebrating our history. All month long on 1017 The Truth.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. That's because when you feel totally protected, you can enjoy the dreams you've worked so hard to achieve. Insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent online. Find an agent near you by going to amfam.com today. It's so easy. When you go to amfam.com, you can find an agent near you, or you can get a quote instantly online. They make it so easy. I like talking to people. I like figuring stuff out. So after I get my quote, I'm going to still want to talk to somebody. So I love talking to people in person. So make sure y'all go to amfam.com today, and they'll take care of you. Always remember, insure carefully and dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. You can call in, text in at 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line, but you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can give us a like, you can give us a share, and you can give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of your favorite award-winning shows. All right, Truth Nation, here we go. So I stumbled across a lot of stuff, and so over the weekend I usually find stuff. Friday, somehow I stumbled across this Friday afternoon. It might have been Saturday. And for me, when I look at our city, we have a credibility issue. We really do. Milwaukee has a credibility issue. And when I say credibility, I am talking about the many different facets that, make up and compile this community. A lot of them can't be trusted. They can't be. They're extremely too inconsistent, and they don't execute on a consistent level for you to trust them. Now, do not get me wrong. The city has a lot of great things going for it. I love the city of Milwaukee. But we should aim to ensure that this city is thriving for everybody, a thriving metropolis for not just some, but for all. That is my ultimate goal when I talk about the city. So that's why I hold the city to a high standard. I hold those who are part of this city to a high standard, because I want us to be great. I really do. I really, really do. One way that this city can improve is with increased accountability with the Milwaukee Police Department. And let me start by telling y'all this. I respect the Milwaukee Police Department, okay? I support them. And if I ever got robbed, guess what I'm calling? I'm calling 911. I'm calling the police. I won't even hesitate to call the police. If I ever get assaulted by anybody try to put their hands on me, if I lose the fight, if I win the fight, then we may be good. If I lose the fight, guess what I'm doing? I'm a sore loser. I'm calling 911. I'm calling the police. Heck, when somebody hit the back of my vehicle when I was driving, guess what? I called 911. I said, man, he hit my car. He was just drunk. I'm going to call the police. When the kid boys steal your car, who y'all calling? 911. So that's what I'm saying. So I respect and appreciate the work of the police. I'm not one of them folks who hates on the police or wants to defund the police. Now, I do think we should reimagine what policing looks like, because I believe they serve a strong purpose for the community, but I do think we can reimagine kind of what their purpose is. Now, on the other hand, I do believe they should be held to a higher standard as a member of the community. We all make mistakes, but we all don't make life or death decisions. That's the difference. When I come here and I do the radio show, listen, your life ain't in my hands. It's not, and you can choose just to turn this off. And this is why it leads me to a concerning report from TMJ4 last week about an officer who was caught drinking and driving while in a different state and it was not reported and properly placed on the Brady List until after TMJ4 brought it to light. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube so you can hear the story about a Milwaukee Police Department police officer who was drinking and driving and begging and asking folks to turn off their cameras. And all of it wasn't reported on the Brady List, which goes against what is the protocol that is supposed to happen. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube to see the TMJ4 report.
A Milwaukee police officer has resigned 2 days after I started asking questions about him landing on a list no officer wants to be on. I'm Ben Jordan, an investigative reporter for TMJ4 News in Milwaukee. Body and dash camera video from Wheaton, Illinois in April of 2023 takes us back to a reckless driving incident involving Officer Christopher De La Vega from the Milwaukee Police Department. He's seen swerving around several vehicles and driving into oncoming traffic before driving 40 miles per hour over the limit.
Sorry, it's hard to balance.
Once he pulled over, the Wheaton police officer noticed alcohol on his breath. Officer De La Vega denied drinking 3 times. He later admitted that was a lie. He also asked the officer to turn off his body cam.
Can you turn off real quick or no? No. Okay, gotcha.
For the past year and a half, I've been investigating Milwaukee County's Brady List. 200 officers are currently on the list due to allegations of past crimes, dishonesty, and other integrity concerns. It means that information has to be turned over to defense attorneys if that officer is called to testify due to alleged credibility concerns. Criminal defense attorneys question why it took 2 years for him to be put on the list after he was convicted of a crime in Illinois in 2023.
When the conviction was entered in Illinois, he should have been put on the list.
My mind immediately wonders how many proceedings did this officer speak or testify in during that 2-year interval.
So why was there a 2-year lapse? District Attorney Kent Lovern says MPD failed to notify his office until last year. How would you respond to defense attorneys who say this isn't how the process is supposed to work?
Well, we want the process to work as perfectly as possible, and on occasion it doesn't. And when it doesn't, we have to address it. And in this case, just like with a couple of the others that we wanted to see sooner on the list, we sent out notifications about it.
You were blowing through it, okay? I'll give you another shot, all right?
In this case, Lovern says his office had to notify every defendant and their attorney about De La Vega's Brady violation in every criminal case he witnessed going back to 2023.
Everything's on body cam, so there's no secrets here.
I reached out to Officer De La Vega to request an interview. He declined, but he told me his decision to resign was not related to him being placed on the Brady List or this story. He said it was for personal reasons.
I can smell alcohol on your breath.
For personal reasons, they claim. This is clearly, to me, this is a problem. Officer De La Vega was reportedly drunk and dishonest about drinking and driving. He was driving 34 miles per hour and you saw over the speed limit, and y'all saw him swerving in and out of traffic. He was driving recklessly. He then allegedly asked the responding officer to turn off his body camera. Now listen, this officer is human. He's a human being, Truth Nation, and we all make mistakes, but when there's a lack of transparency, that becomes a serious issue to me. And like I said before, we have a credibility issue in the community and with MPD. The fact that 200 officers, which is 12.5% of the total force in Milwaukee, are on the Brady List. Anybody else find that to be troubling? That 200 officers are on the Brady List out of 1,600? 12.5% are on the Brady List for any type of misconduct? But as with many organizations, there are individuals whose actions raise concerns, and for me, a lot of the actions from some of these MPD folks raise concerns. And to let y'all know, if you don't know, the Brady List is a compilation maintained by prosecutors. A compilation maintained by prosecutors and law enforcement agencies that identifies officers with histories of misconduct such as dishonesty, bias, or excessive force, issues that could undermine their credibility in court. Kent Laverne, the current district attorney, said he had to contact different folks to let them know that somebody who should have been on the Brady List had testified in their case. And so you don't know about their credibility. So I guess for me, when I look at all this, my question is, how can the public trust and fully trust the department if they're not willing to hold their officers accountable publicly? That's what my big issue is with this. And I'm going to be honest for a moment. We got to understand the history of Milwaukee Police Department. It's documented history of corruption. The culture of unconstitutional tactics under the former Chief Harold Breyer, which thank goodness I wasn't alive during the time or growing up during the time of Harold Breyer, but Dr. Ken has talked about him in the stories that he has heard about Chief Breyer. He departed in 1984. And I also have personally heard stories from decades ago from first responders who personally witnessed officers planting evidence on folks. That type of culture does not disappear overnight. It can persist within an institution for years and years and years if it is not addressed and directly part of transparency. And I know that is something that still MPD is working on. Now, I believe in the current leadership with Jeffrey Norman, but I don't believe that one man can change someone's bias or beliefs. And so for me, when I started this conversation, I said, my goodness, how can we trust MPD? How can we have faith in MPD if MPD ain't being forthcoming with us? 833-212-1017. Does MPD have a credibility issue? 833-212-1017. Does there need to be more transparency when it comes to MPD? Should everybody on the Brady List be fired? 833-212-1017. Now, again, this is not anti-police because I respect the police and I appreciate the police. And I want to highlight, even though there's 200 people on the Brady List, that means there's 1,300 to 1,400 not on the Brady List. So the majority of the police officers are doing the right things. They don't have credibility issues. But how do you handle those that do have it? And unfortunately, I know a lot of us black folks have had a negative experience with the police once in a while. I remember a negative experience I had, but I think I told the story one time before, and I have some others of negative experiences, and we already have a level of distrust. And I feel like the responsibility to bridge that gap and to build trust with the community, as MPD has tried, is solely on MPD. Now, as a community, we need to be open, we need to be accepted, we need to act the fool because they do have a job to do. But I do believe when it comes to issues like this, they need to ensure that they rectify these situations. This man should have never, Officer De La Vega should have never, ever, ever not been on that list for almost 2 years. It shouldn't have been TMJ4 bringing up this investigation for him finally to be put on the Brady List. There needs to be better protocol and standards put in place for that to be able to transpire from he makes a mistake and then all of a sudden it gets put on the Brady List. But if you're going to build trust within the community, you have to make sure you're holding yourself to a high standard and a level of accountability. And again, that's one of my biggest pet peeves that I have with law enforcement is that their power, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them are power hungry. A lot of them take things not too serious, but a lot of them, they look at the power that they have and they misuse that power. Too many times we see police officers, like in the story of Joel Acevedo, which the officer got off, but it seems like he was an off-duty. I just don't. If you are a person who is trying to hold somebody down and they are outside of your house and your property trying to leave, and you hold them down, you kill them, there's got to be some type of something you get charged with. I just don't understand how you can kill somebody when the person tells you they can't breathe or trying to leave your property. You don't just let them leave. So I just feel like there needs to be more accountability. But 833-212-1017, Truth Nation. How can the public fully trust a department if they're not willing to hold officers accountable? Do you feel like MPD is doing a good enough job of holding officers accountable, having transparency with the community? Again, 833-212-1017. This all stems from a story that I stumbled upon and stumbled across that showed an officer from Milwaukee who was driving in Illinois. He was drunk driving, going 34 miles per hour over. He was supposed to be placed on the Brady List, but he was never placed on the Brady List until TMJ4 did an investigative report and brought it to light. 833-212-1017. How can we fix this lack of transparency from MPD? You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. You can join in on the conversation there. But if you want to join in and share your thoughts on today's conversation, go to 833-212-1017. Does MPD have a credibility issue? I'll hear from you. I see your texts. I see your calls. I see you on YouTube. We'll continue on with the conversation next.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's time to plan for kindergarten. Will your child turn 3, 4, or 5 by September 1st? Learn about kindergarten programs and enroll now. Explore schools across the city that offer traditional kindergarten, Montessori, and more. MPS students enjoy art, music, physical education, along with reading, writing, math, and science. Find out about bus transportation and before and after school care. Enroll for fall 2026 by March 2nd. Get the details at mpsmke.com/enroll.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. The Milwaukee Bucks got beat bad against the Toronto Raptors at home yesterday, 122-94. Doc Rivers after the game.
We got manhandled, bottom line. We just did. Probably have said that one other time this year, but I thought their physicality completely took us out of the game.
They're back at it tomorrow against the Miami Heat at the Pfizer at 7. Brewers went 0-2 this weekend in spring training against the Guardians and White Sox. They're back at it again against the Padres today. In college hoops, UW-Madison beat their rivals, the Iowa Hawkeyes, 84-71. They play Oregon next on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Marquette is in Georgetown on Tuesday with tip-off at 6. UWM lost to the Oakland Grizzlies 81-70.
Bounce it for Kone inside. He's held. He shoots. He scores and won.
Their final game of the season is on Wednesday against Youngstown State. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams, member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
It's your final chance to save big at Steinhoffel's during President's Day extended sale. Right now, take 10% off store-wide on dining sets, bedroom furniture, living room, and more. But hurry, this really is the end. And here's something fun. Stop in and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Yes! A dream vacation to Hawaii. Big savings and one last shot and a trip to paradise are on the line only at Steinhoffel's. Don't miss it. Shop in-store at Steinhoffel's or online at steinhoffels.com. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That's 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Where you can give us a like. You can give us a share, you can give us a subscribe so you don't miss any of your favorite award-winning 101.7 The Truth shows. Also, you can call in, text in at 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. And today, started a conversation just talking about the fact that there's this Brady List that we've talked about. Tory Lowe is big into the Brady List, as he should be, based off the advocacy work that he does and the constant seeking of transparency that he has. But there is an officer or former officer in Milwaukee Police Department who in 2023 was caught drinking and driving down in Wheaton, Illinois. He was going 34 miles per hour over the speed limit. He was swerving in and out through traffic. Got pulled over. We got out the car. He asked the police officer, he said, "Can you turn your camera off?" The police officer said no. And he committed these crimes, was charged with stuff, and it never was put on a Brady List until an investigation was done. And it made me call out for more transparency from MPD. Because in order for us to truly trust MPD, we need to make sure that they're being transparent and being thorough with the fact that they ask us to act a certain way. We also need them to act a certain way. And I just think there's a culture within MPD where there's a lack of transparency. I feel like a lot of officers get away with some different things. I'm sure Chief Norman, I trust Chief Norman, I'm sure he's trying to clean up the mess that he was left. But that's the reason why I truly believe that officers, they shouldn't have to live in Milwaukee. They really should have to live in Milwaukee. I hate the fact that there's a residency law no longer here in the city of Milwaukee, because I do believe that if you're going to be policing folks, you should live in their community. And that goes for all communities. I don't think you should be living in Menominee Falls if you're a police officer in Oak Creek. It just don't make sense to me. You driving all the way over there for work, you're not even part of the community. I think that would definitely help all communities. But 833-212-1017, that's the Truth Talking text line. And we're asking, do you believe that MPD has a credibility issue? 833-212-1017. Al in Milwaukee, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, they always had a credibility issue, but my thing is with this one police officer, did he put his hands on somebody? Did he lie or anything?
From what I saw, he was just drinking and driving, and it wasn't reported. So based off his drinking and driving and poor judgment.
Okay, so he was drinking and driving on his time. Well, if he was drinking and driving on his time, I don't see why that would be on the Brady's list. Now, if he lied and he jumped on somebody or murdered somebody or had an abuse charge, I can see that. But if he was minding his own business and he just was driving drunk, then I don't see the reason why that would be on the Brady's list, because what he do at night has nothing to do with us.
Well, that's not 100% true, Al, because a lot of times when you have a certain job, you're a representative of that job at all times. So if you drink and drive at a certain job, if I drink and drive here and I go 34 miles per hour over, and all of a sudden it gets all in the news, I may be suspended, or I may get in trouble, or I may have to put in an apology or something like that. I mean, and people get fired for the things that are off time.
I understand that, but Kyle, when you leave the truth and you go home, you on your time. So I can't judge you for something you was doing on your personal time. So as long as your personal time does not affect anything dealing with the truth, then I can't say that, because then that's me putting you on a pedestal as if you're perfect when you're not.
I mean, I
so
agree.
That's my only thing.
They're not perfect. But I do believe in the line of work, when you are a public official or you're a public servant in the way that you do, I think it is important for people to know. Now, he didn't lose his job because he was being on Brady List. He decided to leave his job. But I think that's something that you should disclose, because that your conduct and your actions that you have, the decisions that you make, such as a poor decision to drink and drive, to speed at 34 miles per hour, to ask somebody to turn off their camera, is poor judgment. And yet poor judgment could translate to the field of work that they do, which is so important because they make life or death decisions.
So does that mean if I make kids out of wedlock and I decide to stand at the pulpit and tell everybody they going to hell because they ain't saved, does that make sense? So should I go on the Brady List for that too?
You should. I think the pulpit should know that though you might be sitting up here praying to them, you also have a child out of wedlock. I think that's important for people to know who they're following.
But what does that got to do? But what does that got to do with the church?
It has to do with the judgment and the character of the person that's leading the church. I believe your character speaks volumes, and that your judgment speaks volumes of what you do. I mean, it don't mean you're an evil person. It don't mean you're a bad person. Right? You said what now?
But that's only during business hours. But my time is my time.
Yeah, your time is
not doing with your time.
Yeah, when you have certain positions, there's a certain level of transparency that's expected. Now, everybody can have a different. Thank you, Al. Everybody can have a different expectations and level. Have a good day, Al. Have a different level of expectations of what that transparency is. My views and my judgment doesn't translate over to DJ Brother Z's. He may have a different level of judgment. He may be more strict than I am, or he may be more lenient than I am, but that's individual. But based off the rules and the laws that we have here due to a Supreme Court case that was in the 1960s, we have the Brady List. And if an officer does something that's misconduct, whether it's on the job or off the job, that could maybe be a credibility issue, it should be reported. And the MPD failed in reporting that. That's it. But 833-212-1017. I'm going to transition. I'm trying to figure out what. I'm going to transition over to this other thing because tomorrow I do want to talk about Tourette's. There's a syndrome called Tourette's. And I've seen Tourette's before, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. Why are you laughing, DJ Brother Z? I'm going to talk about Tourette's tomorrow because that's crazy. Being called the N-word is wild, and blaming on Tourette's is wild work. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow, Truth Nation. But as we transition on, there is something else I do want to speak on. Is I told you I stumble across a lot of different things. And I also this weekend stumbled across something else. And I couldn't believe it was real. I'm going to be honest. I was at work here. I was doing Sunday Karma, getting ready for Sunday Karma. And I looked at my phone and I saw this video and I said, oh my gosh, this can't be real. This cannot be real. Sometimes I feel like we are living in a circus. Like, for real. America is becoming a circus. So I'm not sure if y'all saw the news or not, but the President Trump's tariffs were struck down by the United States Supreme Court last week. I don't know if y'all saw that. They ruled that President Trump did not have the authority under a 1977 economic emergency law to issue such sweeping tariffs. Now, this, of course, made him mad, made him upset, and he criticized the justice. He went along to say the Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court. Absolutely ashamed for not having the courage to do what is right for our country. Now, that's on par for Donald Trump. But the breakdown of this basically means this, because I told you I was going to talk about this, but the breakdown means this. Trump cannot just put tariffs on countries based on how he feels or just any specific products or steel or anything like that. He can't just single out things or single out countries. He has to get approval from Congress. So he can propose something, but Congress has to approve it. So if he wants to have a tariff placed on a country or wants to have a tariff placed on some type of product, he has to have approval from Congress. That's all that the conservative court was saying. Now, I may not like Trump, but I do believe strategically approaching tariffs can be good. I do believe it could be good. That's not what they did. They took a reckless and irresponsible approach, and that's why it was struck down by, again, a mostly conservative court. 3 conservatives, 3 Democrats struck it down. Now, what he does have the power to do is to be less strategic and just institute a global tariff, which is exactly what he did by adding 10% to the global tariff on all countries, which now brings the global tariff up to 15%, which will result in us paying more money on everything. It's very confusing stuff. But do realize a global tariff means we're all going to be paying more money on everything. That's just it, because he's mad. Now, the bottom line for this is that Trump used his authority and he overstepped. He overstepped with his authority. Now, why I say this country is becoming a circus is because obviously Trump is mad and he's upset. And he had a whole press conference where he was displaying how mad he was. But then on Sunday morning, I told you I came across a video of a gentleman named John Barron. You know how Al just called into the show? You know how people call into the show all the time? Some people think Al is a character. I thought Al was a character. DJ Brother Z, I don't know about you, but when you heard Al call in for the first time back when he was at the old studio, you probably thought he was a character. You probably didn't think this can't be a real person. And then you met him in person. It's like, oh, he's real, and this is Al. This is authentically Al. So Truth Nation, on C-SPAN on Sunday, somebody named John Barron called in from Virginia. And tell me this voice don't sound a little bit familiar. Go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube or turn up your radio to hear John Barron from Virginia air out his displeasure of what the Supreme Court did with those tariffs.
John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you've ever had in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right,
by
John.
this.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Wait a minute now. I know good and dang well that wasn't Donald Trump. DJ Brother Z, did you hear that voice? Who that sound like to you, Brother Z?
Somebody doing a Trump impersonation.
Somebody doing a Trump impersonation. I know good and dang well Donald Trump ain't prank calling the C-SPAN to air his grievances. This man's supposed to be running the country. That sounds just like Donald Trump to me. Like, y'all can't be serious right now. We can't be. I get it. I think Trump is an awful human being. I mean, he's selfish. He's terrible. But for his age, he got too much time to be this petty. I thought it was pretty funny. We got way too much time. This is just embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing for this to be happening. John Barron from Virginia calling in a C-SPAN to express his displeasure. I can't believe this president did that. But I also think this is a circus because yesterday, I don't know about y'all, but I got a chance to watch the United States men's hockey team. I watched the women's hockey team beat Canada in overtime on Thursday. And then I had the opportunity yesterday to watch the United States beat Canada in hockey in overtime again on Sunday. Men and women get the gold medal for the first time in Olympic history during the same year, and the men win their first gold medal in the Olympics since the 1980 Miracle on Ice team. It was great. But also, there was somebody who was there who was celebrating. Kash Patel, our FBI director, took a FBI's private jet all the way to Italy on our dime to watch a hockey game. It cost us an estimated $75,000 for a man to get drunk, act a fool, and watch hockey. Meanwhile, Mar-a-Lago was being broken into and somebody was trying to get in there to get Trump. Got shot and killed, though. So while this man is over there in Italy drinking beers on our dime, somebody trying to break into Mar-a-Lago. He needs to be investigating that. We also got a Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., who was bragging about snorting coke off a damn toilet seat. We got a Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, benching fake 300-pound weights. It's just a clown show. The doing coke off a toilet seat. I've never done coke, never done drugs. I drink a little bit. But to sit up here and brag about, oh, germs aren't that bad. I did coke off a toilet seat. Meanwhile, sounding like, I hate this when you talk. Come on now, that ain't an example of what we want. This whole administration is a clown show. They swear folks is DEI, but everybody they hired was unqualified for the job. Not everybody, but a lot of folks they hire are unqualified. And you know what? Sometimes I swear I should do a switch up. Sometimes I think about, boy, if I was so self-interested, I could do a switch up. I could do a pure 180. If I switched up and became a Republican and kissed they behind for 8 years, I bet you I could find myself in one of these whack job administration jobs. I could be like Christine Levitt and be the person who takes all the questions for the administration. Our country's leadership is inept and embarrassing on all levels. So many folks have such low morals and standards, and I really just feel like our country is doomed. And a lot of people talk about, oh, we're doomed, wait till Trump leaves. I don't know. I just feel like even after the circus leaves town, we still got folks in this country that wanted to go to the circus. You got folks who wanted to see these monkeys and wanted to see these buffoons and wanted to see the elephants and wanted to see the clowns and wanted to see the lions. So despite the fact that, yes, the Trump administration may be leaving, you still have millions and millions of Americans that enjoyed the show. But 833-212-1017. We come back, Truth Nation. I'll share my final thoughts. I'll look at some of y'all comments on YouTube, some interesting thoughts on YouTube that we'll address. But keep it locked. This is Truth to Power. Kyle Walls. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for what the business is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Walsh, and I'm coming to you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. The talking text line today, a thumbs up removed. We touched on a lot of different stuff. And on the talking text line, I think this is something else. Somebody said, for the first time I agree with Al. That was in the sense of Al said, if somebody do something on their own time, why would they need to be put on a list? Well, got to talk to I don't have the answer for that. I have my own answer, but I guess the law tells them that they have to be. So, and that's in regards to a police officer who was drinking and driving, going 34 miles per hour and swerving in and out of traffic, and asked the police officer to turn off his body camera. They're asking why he needs to be put on the Brady list. Well, that's misconduct. Even though he wasn't on, we want to know some of the misconduct they have in their life. Judgment. It's important. Gary said, Kyle, you're on fire. We need more time on your show. I appreciate that. Well, Truth Nation, I hope y'all enjoyed the show today as we went through a lot of different conversations. Tomorrow I will address Tourette's syndrome. I'm going to do some research on Tourette's. You know, a famous goalkeeper named Tim Howard has Tourette's. I don't think he ever yelled, nigger, out loud. But, black man. But this has been Truth to Power, Kyle Walls. We will talk about that and so much more. The Tory Lowe Show is up next from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, thank y'all. I love y'all. Peace out. I will talk to y'all tomorrow.
It's recognizing that there are people in the world that only have one word on their mind and heart when they become emotional and something happens.